Disney has the best parks, lands, and rides in all amusement parks in the world. But sometimes things don't go as planned, and some of these had to close down. In most cases, they are repurposed or torn down, but sometimes Disney just abandoned them. So, here are 5 examples of things abandoned by Disney. Rainbow Corridor Imageworks Area, Epcot.
I travel all over the universe, collecting the stuff dreams are made of. Sounds, colors, ideas, anything that sparks the imagination.
The original Journey into Imagination attraction at Epcot was very popular. After disembarking, guests were sent through the post-show Imageworks area. This hosted a variety of games and hands-on exhibits, such as Magic Palette, Light Rider, and Bubble Music. The most famous of these was the Rainbow Corridor. As you walked through the Rainbow Corridor, the colors would change and the rings would move to create a futuristic sensory experience. The tunnel was very popular, especially in the 1980s after Michael Jackson did a photo shoot inside. In 1992, the Journey into Imagination Pavilion was completely overhauled. The ride was redone, and Imageworks was moved downstairs and renamed to the What If Labs. The second floor of the Imagination Pavilion was closed to the public, and the Rainbow Tunnel and the rest of the original Imageworks area was left completely abandoned. In 2011, almost 20 years after the area was permanently closed, the Rainbow Tunnel was actually still fully intact, abandoned as a remnant of what once was. The lights on the signs continued to light up, along with a few lonely red rings. But the area was littered with random chairs, lights, and even a ladder, instead of the families that used to enjoy the area. In 2016, the second floor of the Imagination Pavilion finally reopened, but this time as a DVC lounge. The lounge sits directly beneath the large glass pyramid, and there's a wall that separates it from the rest of the old Imageworks area. At this time, the tunnel had begun to be dismantled, with only a few pieces remaining, but the sensor signs still remained. Then, in 2017, the tunnel was in its final dismantled stages. It had been stripped and removed, with only a few remnants remaining. Sadly, it's clear that the iconic Rainbow Tunnel is officially gone for good. Discovery Island, Walt Disney World.
Discovery Island is a recreation of a tropical rainforest. Actually, it's an island in the middle of Bay Lake, transformed into a beautiful zoological garden.
Discovery Island was purchased by Disney in 1965 as part of their massive land grab leading up to the building of Walt Disney World. When the park opened in 1974, it was called Treasure Island and built as a place to observe wildlife. It featured exotic birds, lagoons, beaches, vegetation, animal demonstrations and attractions, and more. Guests could access the island from a Disney World resort dock, or, even more exciting, take a cruise that gave them a tour of the Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake with a pit stop at Treasure Island. The name was changed to Discovery Island in 1976, and in 1978, it became a zoological park accredited by the American Zoo and Aquarium Association. Despite the name change, the island remained intact with occasional upgrades for more than 20 years. Then, in 1989, the island encountered a huge problem with vultures. According to Disney employees, the vultures attacked the other animals. Also, with the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom, the attendance in Discovery Island was really low while the maintenance costs were very high. So, Disney decided to close the island. Discovery Island closed to the public on April 8, 1999, but continued to operate until July 9, 1999, at which point all of its animals had either been relocated to Disney Animal Kingdom or other zoos. The island remains abandoned now, with no signs of development. All original buildings and attractions remain on the island, though several have sustained major damages from hurricanes and natural decay. Among the abandoned buildings, there are still cages, snakes preserved in jars, and even old employee photos. The island is also still filled with birds, especially vultures. Shane Perez, the photographer who snuck into the island to take pictures, was banned permanently from every Disney park, so you definitely shouldn't try and do the same. Cranium Command, Wonders of Life, Epcot. The original plan for Epcot included a pavilion dedicated to life and health, but a lack of sponsorship meant that the Wonders of Life Pavilion didn't make its debut until 1989. One of its headline attractions was Cranium Command. This show was a humorous presentation on the importance of the human brain. Guests became Cranium Commandos and were sent on a mission into the human brain. It starred Buzzy, a tiny little soldier who had been tasked with keeping a 12-year-old boy out of trouble by entering his cranium. After a pre-show briefing, guests entered the theater, which was designed to represent the inside of the human head. The outside world was seen through a pair of screens designed to mimic the eyes. Buzzy himself led the mission, in audio animatronic form. The attraction served as inspiration for Pixar's Inside Out, and also for the Disney short Inner Workings, along with the 1943 Disney short Reason and Emotion. This was a beloved attraction, even if it was sometimes overshadowed by its sister attraction in The Wonders of Life, Body Wars. But then, in January 2007, the Wonders of Life Pavilion was closed for good, without any explanation from Disney. This attraction, as well as Body Wars, was left intact and abandoned. The audio animatronic stars of Cranium Command, Captain Buzzy and the Hypothalamus, remained in the ride, and it is currently unknown if they have been removed yet. The Food Rocks stage at Epcot. Kitchen Cabaret has to be one of the most unusual Disney attractions of all time. It was essentially a vaudeville-style show featuring singing food items and was designed to teach kids about the 4 food groups. It operated in the Land Pavilion at Epcot for 12 years before being replaced by the similar Food Rocks. The show was themed as a benefit concert for good nutrition, hosted by Food Rapper, who was voiced by real-life rapper Tone Loc. The show was continually interrupted by The Excess, a junk food heavy metal band that detests nutrition. The audio animatronic characters were food items with human features. The music was based on popular songs by well-known performers, with lyrics adapted to the topic of nutrition, like the Peach Boys singing Good Nutrition or Refrigerator Police singing Every Bite You Take. The attraction closed down on January 3, 2004 to make way for Epcot's new attraction, Soarin'. But Soarin' did not use all of Food Rock's space, and Disney left the stage from the audio animatronics show completely abandoned. The stage was walled off, and the other side of the wall is the entrance for Soarin'. It stayed abandoned for a long time until it was taken over by the new, larger women's bathrooms in the Soarin' entrance. River Country, Walt Disney World.
River Country, big river country, it's a hoot, it's a holler, it's a water jamboree. River Country, big river country, if you're hot around the collar, it's a cool place to be.
Disney's River Country was the first water park at Walt Disney World. It opened on June 20th, 1976. Positioned on the shore of Bay Lake near Discovery Island, the park featured a rustic wilderness theme, complete with rocks and man-made boulders. It was described as an old-fashioned swimming hole with a twist of Huckleberry Finn. And just as Disneyland had reinvented the amusement park 21 years earlier, River Country reinvented aquatic recreation. The park featured a sandy bottom and unique water filtering system using confluent water from adjacent Bay Lake, which was dammed off, creating a natural-looking artificial lagoon. The park's water was at a higher level than the lake's, which was an effort to prevent the lake water from going into the park. The Disney designers created miniature mountains for the water slides since Florida had no mountains to offer. Bay Cove, the swimming hole, was actually part of Bay Lake and held 330,000 gallons of water. The popularity of River Country convinced Disney executives to build Typhoon Lagoon some years later, to be followed by Blizzard Beach. River Country used to close down seasonally, and at the end of its 2001 season, it closed just as it always did. But when it was time for it to reopen for the 2002 season, the parks didn't. There are many rumors and half-truths about why the park closed down. Some people say that it was because of the death of an 11-year-old boy that contracted a brain-eating amoeba inside the park. But is this true? Yes and no. Did a boy die from a brain-eating amoeba that he caught in River Country? Sadly, yes. But that was back in 1980, and not only did the park not close, but it also stayed open for another 21 years. Why didn't the park close? Well, the amoeba can breed in almost any freshwater lake during hot weather, so the park was not technically to blame, and Disney officials said that there wasn't much they could do. Some people said that River Country had to close when Florida law changed to require water parks to use water from municipal water systems, not from natural bodies of water. But this claim is also false. There were also 2 drownings in the park, but the park didn't close because of these accidents either. The real reason why the park closed down is that attendance levels were too low. Although River Country was the first water park at Walt Disney World, it had been joined by 2 newer, larger ones. Disney's Typhoon Lagoon, which opened in 1989, and Disney's Blizzard Beach on 1995. The new parks offered far more slides, relaxing lazy rivers with clever things to see along the way, fully developed themes, and much greater capacity. unlike the awkwardly located River Country. Instead of being demolished, River Country has been allowed to deteriorate for many years. The result is a fascinating study of how quickly nature can reclaim a Disney-built attraction. Sections of River Country are visible from boats traveling along Bay Lake. Aerial photos offer an overall view, and some people have even snuck into the park. But that's a pretty dangerous thing to do, and we definitely don't recommend it. The park has been abandoned since 2001, but on March 5th, 2018, Disney filed permits for a new mystery development, labeled Project 89, to be built along Bay Lake and over the former River Country site. And on May 31st, 2018, it was confirmed that a new resort hotel is going to be built where River Country currently is. Construction is slated to start in 2019, with the demolition of all the former River Country rides. The new deluxe resort will be nature-themed and called Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge, and it is set to open in 2022. Any other abandoned rides, lands, or parks you could think of? Let us know in the comments. Maybe your comment will be featured in our next video. If you like the channel, check out our online store where we have lots of products with cool designs, like these. Follow the link in the description, and also be sure to check out our Instagram page for a behind-the-scenes look on Fastpass facts. See you next time!